Parkinson's law. People usually take all of the time allocated and frequently more to accomplish any task. Well, our time is up. It's been a long slog and, believe it or not, a year in the making. But now we are finally putting the finishing touches on our new off-grid mobile studio. This is literally the last few days of this mammoth project, so there is no time for hiccups, no space for stoppages. This is the story of how our new tiny home came together, how we moved in with less than 30 minutes to spare, and our unfortunate first miles on the road.
This guy reversed straight into our freaking front of the car.
Okay, time for the bamboo.
Finally, a roof is going on. This is getting there slowly, but man, is it taking some time.
I've got to be honest, I've been dreading putting this bamboo roof up. It's an awkward job, and I'll be glad when it's behind us.
Finally found a solution for the midgie problem. When we were coming across the States, we had a huge problem with midgies coming into the van and biting us all night. So this way, we have found some midgie-proof stainless steel tightly woven netting here, so it can we can have your windows open and the fan on, and the midgies won't get through. So this is going to make a huge difference in our comfort. It's been a lot of good work on this Kombi, but sometimes we've come across a few little mess ups like this.
We'll call that little.
Big mess up.
It's definitely not a little mess up.
Yep. And there's one right at the top too.
I know. Don't have to tell me, Leah. I know there's one right at the top too. It's a flipping, look at the size of the screw. It's not even that long. It's a tiny screw. But most of it went through. It missed the block by like that.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter. Flipping hole in the Kombi. Ho! Bamboo! Quite like the bamboo. Didn't enjoy putting it up. It was a bit of a pain. Mostly glued in a lot of places with a few mechanical screws, you know, structural support, but mostly it's glue that's holding this thing up, which is fine until we want to take it down. Hopefully that will never ever happen, at least not for many years, until we retrofit the Kombi for Kombi Life 5.0. It's good to finally be getting some finishing touches. Look at that, pretty nice. What's next? Window frames. Flipping heck. Buy a camper van that is already converted. That's my tip for you for today. Oh. I'm not going to be able to make Leah not put that in the blooper reel. Damn it. I'm going to get a black eye for that one. There's really two different approaches to building cabinets in a bus, at least two that I've tried. One is like this, is building the entire unit outside of the bus, taking measurements, trying it throughout, but building the unit on a bench and clamping it down and getting a really good solid glued piece of structured furniture which can be installed as one unit, and then as a result can be removed as one unit, which is quite beneficial in the future should you need to remove something to access another part for maintenance or just a change up in design. The other alternative is how I did it previously with my old van Capito, where I basically just cut one piece of wood, installed it, measured the space for the next one, installed it, and built it kind of incrementally like that. The downside of that was that it was not really possible to remove anything in one unit. Like if it was coming out, it was getting destroyed and completely rebuilt. The upside was it was much quicker to install because I didn't have to keep going in and out of the van, measuring bits of wood and trying it to make sure that it still fit before I assembled the unit. So which one do I prefer? I think I prefer building the entire unit outside of the van, but I think that it's much quicker to build it incrementally in the van. So if you're in a rush, just start hacking bits of wood together and bolting them in.
This is a very special moment.
It's a very special moment because this bad boy is in the Kombi. It has been a heck of a lot of work to get this in, hasn't it, Leah?
Yeah.
But it's in, finally secured. It's been a work of faith trying to find the places to put the screws through the bamboo roof into an invisible location, into a piece of wood that was installed months earlier. But luckily it's all worked out and no screws have gone through the roof. So yes, let's get the doors on and get this piece finished. Pretty happy with this.
So these are our new cupboards. They're finally installed. The doors are on. So what we ended up doing with the doors here, originally we had the push to open kind of hinges, but we ended up getting the stronger hinges which kind of close shut, so we couldn't have the push door. What are they called?
Push to open?
Push to open things. So we decided to drill a hole and have that as our handle instead of having anything kind of protrude out, because one, we didn't want to hit our heads, and obviously it's cheaper to drill a hole, it's less maintenance, and it's good ventilation as well, so it can vent out the cupboards having the hole there. So no more hitting heads for me.
I'm quite enjoying this click-in stuff. We chose it against the advice of the company. They say it shouldn't really be installed in a camper van, but I think that's mainly because they are trying to protect themselves against any kind of warranty issues, because these things I think are guaranteed for like 20 years when they're installed in perfect conditions in a house. The problem with the camper van is that there's windows all around and it can get quite warm in there, so the floor has a tendency, could have a tendency to lift up, which is the same for all of these kind of advanced vinyl tile technology type products. However, I think that this one is the best that I've seen. I've seen heat tests done on this product and it doesn't lift, so I'm hoping that it's not going to cause an issue. We're not gluing it down. We've got some underlay underneath it, which is about 1 mil thick, and this is about 6.5 mils thick, so it's pretty lightweight. It's not lightweight, but it's quite lightweight. It's lighter than real wood. It's very, very hard wearing, and it's easy to work with and kind of fun to install. So we'll install it and see how it goes. next job is to fix our seats so that I don't have to do all of the driving for the entire trip across Earth.
Hang on, let me roll back here a second. When we first got our Kombi in Arizona, Boomerang didn't have normal VW seats. In fact, we don't know where those seats came from.
But what we did know is that they were agonisingly uncomfortable. So by the time that we had crossed the USA and met up with Harris in Georgia, we were over the moon at the chance to swap our seats for his old Vanagon seats. Yahoo! Vanagon seats!
That was stage 1, and it was a massive improvement already. But as they weren't made to fit our Kombi, they didn't slide on rails, which is illegal where we are going, and it meant I still couldn't reach the pedals.
Stage 2 was to have a seat base fabricated so that the seat would slide forward and Leah would be able to reach the pedals so that she could drive too.
Stage 3 is to make our new seats look great. So since I've been back in Jersey, I've been doing mainly just a lot of the sanding and cutting of wood and the varnishing. But now, today is the most dreaded of tasks. I've been not looking forward to this job at all. And it is the seat covers, putting the seat covers on. So we decided that we wanted to cover them because they're a bit ratty and it was going to be a lot cheaper to get them and do them ourselves rather than pay an upholsterer to do it. So it's going to be, I think, about half the price, but the work that is involved in reupholstering your seats with the seat covers that you buy is going to be a lot of work. So we'll see how I go. I'm really, really, really nervous doing this job because it looks hard. I've been researching and seeing other people doing it, and it looks like it's a big job. So let's get started. I'm just going to take photos of how things look before I take it apart, so we know to put it exactly back the same way. The easiest part is pulling this all apart. The hardest part is going to be putting it all together, and that's the bit that I'm not looking forward to. The seat material has got hog clips, so I don't have any tool to cut them, so I'm going to try to pry them open with this and maybe this. But the next stage seems to be a little bit more easier, hopefully. I'm going to be beefing up the seat here with some new foam which came with the seat covers, and that's just to give it a bit more extra comfort and hopefully not have it too big, obviously, because it's not going to fit the seat cover, but just enough so it's a little bit more comfortable for Ben's bottom. And I'm going to be doing that by just putting it together with spray glue just to hold it together for when we slide the cover on. About it for that. New hog rings, big ass pliers. I think I'm going to need an assistant for this one.
Where's your white stuff?
Oh, it's here.
Oh, okay.
Ah, that's funny.
This massive thing here.
I've got to say that having a helping hand not only made this job more fun, but a hell of a lot more easier.
Yes.
Norma had to go get some Bacardi. It's tough work.
Yeah, I'm there. Bacardi break.
Yes. Hard work, we deserve it.
I know.
I must confess that I would probably not do this job again. And to be honest, it's probably worth paying that extra bit of money for someone else to do it. Okay. I don't want to do the next bit. A few grueling days later, and I finally finished the seat covers. and I'm pretty proud of how they turned out.
I think this is a significant upgrade in seating position. What have you done to my bottom? It feels so much better. It feels really comfortable. Like, I was expecting it to be a little bit more plush and look nicer, which it definitely does. But I wasn't expecting it to feel nicer. Good work, babes.
Thanks.
And the piece de la résistance is we can slide, which means you can drive.
Yeah. I can touch the pedals.
Nice.
Ah, so much more comfy than like having pillows stacked up behind me and sitting on them and sitting on a phone book. End mode, land mode, land mode, land mode.
Alright, babes, don't wear it out. Good job. In preparation for our kitchen install, we first needed to take care of some things under the bus. We installed this custom-made water tank to supply the sink, but how we're managing our water for extended off-grid travel is kind of cool, so we'll get into that in more detail another time. Big moment, our Dometic stove is going in. This is definitely like a crowning moment of Boomerang. Can't believe we are putting in a cooker and sink into our Kombi. Oh, look at that. Oh. Hello.
One thing you might notice about the sink cooker combo is that the stove runs on propane or LPG. That means we'll be installing a propane system.
To do that, we first had to weld in some angle iron as a previous owner had removed some of the floor. We then mounted this high quality underslung propane tank, which we got from Go Westy. There's actually a few more details about how we prepped this system for overlanding, and that too we'll get into another time.
As total amateurs who had to learn everything for the first time, you wouldn't believe how long these tasks took. And voila, easy as that. 2 seconds, mate. We now only had a few days to finish the build and catch our boat for our first proper road trip in Boomerang. So it was all hands on deck. Thanks, Connor. So this is the complete setup for the rear storage and the swing arm system. So it's inspired by Go Westy with the box and the tray and the arm here to keep the support of the whole thing. We painted it black so it kind of blends in with everything else in the swing arm, and we ended up putting the jerry can flat like this on top of there because there wasn't any room to sit it upright between the wheel and the box. So we did check with the manufacturer if it was okay to store sideways, flat like that, and he said it was fine because it's completely sealed, but we'll keep checking on it obviously. We ended up putting the door on the inside, so when it's locked people can't get into the door here because it looked like it'd be quite easy to get something behind here and pull it open. So we've done that so nobody can get into it when it's closed. All I need to do now is fix the attachments to the gutter here and make sure, reinforce the gutter so it's not too weak, I guess, for the clip to go on. And then it is done. Our rear bumper is finished.
And all this increased activity resulted in more work, more power tools, more cutting, and this. What happened? What did you do? The sawdust catching on fire. Yeah. Luckily there wasn't too much damage in the house, but the shop vac didn't fare so well. Whoa. Look at this! Food box with adjustable storage. Recycle. It was almost worth having a fire, wasn't it? That was pretty good.
That looks amazing. Well done.
Nice one. My dad skillfully built our main kitchen storage out of the remaining scrap wood that we had left over. This was a much better option than plastic storage containers, which to be honest never really hold up to daily use. We mounted the whole system on sliders, keeping space for the heaviest items down low. In hindsight, the stay closed sliders didn't really work as well as they should have.
Oh! So exciting. Starting to look like a kitchen.
Don't on that, babes.
Looks good.
Designing our off-grid studio is one of the most exciting parts of the build, and the Battle-Born battery systems that we're putting together is something else. I cannot wait to tell you all about it. I have no idea how I'm going to fit everything in here. There seems to be space, it's just got an inverter to fit in. I've got a solar charge controller. I've got a kind of mains hookup device. We'll talk more about that later. That's a big old unit, but it does a good job. And we've got this battery to battery charger. We'll talk about that as well. I've got to find a home for it in here somewhere. Morning. It is 8 AM. We are due to leave tomorrow. Boomerang is not ready. I am not ready. I mean, he's almost ready, but as you can see, work needs to be done. I have to do all of the servicing of the vehicle and the oil change and the valve adjustments and all of that kind of stuff. We still have no power. All of my stuff from the build is split over 3 different locations, and I have to pack to drive around the world. Leah's not feeling well, she's still in bed. Poor thing, been working her socks off. So today we find out if we've got power and if the water works and all of that stuff. Should be quite an exciting day. Right, hang on, so we've got max fan, fuse 7, 5 amps, fuse 7. Oh, it's working, we've got power! I think that deserves a high five. Major one. Gotta test all of that water system for leaks. You want to fill up our tank for the first time? Water keys. A whole lot of stuff. How do we know when it's full? Oh, it works! Leo, it works! The water tank thing, look! Keep going, we're only at 1/4 full. I'm geeking out so hard right now. Honestly.
There doesn't seem to be any leaks out here. It's good.
No leaks?
No leaks. Found a leak.
Small leak on the outside of the Kombi when it gets full, but that's okay because the plastic, it's not okay, but it's kind of intentional because they're plastic pipes and I didn't want to over tighten the hose clamps, so I was waiting to see if that was tight enough, and clearly it's not tight enough, but now I can tighten it if I can reach it. Honestly, I thought I was so smart getting all of our plumbing stuff below this, you know, in this little secret storage space that was never going to be seen and wasn't taking up any space, but as soon as we had a leak it proved an absolute nightmare to do any maintenance on. So I thought I had it covered, but I just really couldn't get a spanner, a wrench in there to tighten it up. So I've relocated it and I'm putting it in another place. It's an obvious statement, but you've got to make sure you can also do the maintenance on this stuff too, and not just jam it away so it's out of the way. What a setback.
So today is the last day that we are in Jersey. Today we leave the island and we go off to start our world expedition, and we are just not ready at all. I still have a lot of packing to do. Ben is outside doing last minute maintenance, and of course the lights decided to stop working, so we're trying to figure that out. How are you going, baby?
Just lost one brake light, fixed it, and now the other brake light has stopped working, which requires me to take out 2 batteries to get to the brake light. Ah, that's how I'm going, Leah.
And we're leaving in a few hours. I think the UK kind of part of the tour is just going to be a bit of like fine-tuning everything and hopefully working things out along the way. We just got a few things in the back that we're going to chuck out and put in a skip, and then after we chuck out everything we don't need, then we're going to start packing.
Feeling a little overwhelmed by the task which is ahead of us. Still need a number plate and a Volkswagen symbol. Tank of oil, tuned, boomerang is running good. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Running out of time. Haven't even had time to pack. Just lock everything. Got the keys. Ah! Oh, flipping heck, flipping heck, flipping heck. No time to clean the cameras. No time to pack my clothes. A la casa! Alright, we got to get going. We are late for the boat. As you can see, we have not had time to pack. All my clothes are in a backpack. Alright,
Let's go.
let's do this.
Seatbelt?
Yep, seatbelts, I will get that on the way. We made it to the ferry port. Pool. For f***'s sake.
We've just got on the boat and gone to reverse into the boat, and this guy reversed straight into our freaking front of the car.
Sake, man. Oh my days, this is literally the worst start to life on the road. After a flipping year of solid work, we didn't even make it 5 friggin' miles without crashing. I cannot believe that happened. I cannot believe that happened. Somebody reversed into us. Flipping, flipping. We're on our way to England now, so hopefully get it sorted when we're there. Guy's not very apologetic, and he's also not very forthcoming, giving me no insurance details at all. But it was just reversing too quick for me to do anything about it. There's a car behind me, I couldn't go anywhere, I just had to sit there and suck it up. So it's like, I only realised about 2 seconds before he hit us that he wasn't going to stop. Too late to do anything. Just when Boomerang was finished. There is no turning back now. We are on our way up to Scotland. We'll have to address the damage when we get off the ferry, and somehow, somewhere, we will put this right, and hopefully start enjoying life off-grid and on the move. But that is a story for next time.